Hello everyone. In today's video, we will discuss the general overview of our solution, Nakisa Real Estate. As you can see here, once you log into the solution, you have the main page and several dashboards and reports that will be displayed. These, of course, are always pertaining to the information that you've previously entered within the system. At the top right, you'll have your search bar. As you can see here, you have the ability to search, for example, by premise, location, or even critical clauses. You also have your notification bell, which tells you any new activity that has been entered within the system and the user that has entered that information. And here you have your action center. Within the action center, you'll have any dates that are soon coming to term or will come to term, such as critical clauses or any leases that are ending or, for example, that are expired. As a user, you have the ability to click on these and you'll be redirected to an entire report of, for example, your expired leases. If you want, you can also export this report into Excel, and you can also filter. If, for example, you don't want the state to appear in this report, you can take that out as well. Side of the menu, you have the admin panel. Within the admin panel, the user has the ability to really configure the solution and add any information, for example, such as building type or area type. And here you have the main menu. As you can see, we have a hierarchy of location, premises, and leases. It's important to know that this hierarchy allows the user to manage any kind of real estate scenarios. And to give you a better idea, a location could be a building, a lot, or an address that can be either owned or leased. Your premise can be a suite or a unit that can be occupied, vacant, leased internally or externally. And your lease, of course, will be a contractual obligation. So let's go ahead into our example that we created. As you can see here on the right side of the menu, you have your navigation tree, which as a user, it tells you that you've created a location, a premise, and 2 different leases. You also have the status of each one of them. And as you can see, only one of them is active, which is one of the leases. Within your location, you always have an identification tab with the general information, which really tells you what you input within the system, such as the currency, the unit, even the building type. You can also select to filter by groups and input the address of your location. The system allows the users to add a lot more information, such as the area for the location, any partners, any operating costs relating to the camera reconciliation, and any pictures and documents. Once your location has been activated, you'd be able to create your premise. And into the premise, you'll have the same type of information that will be displayed. You'll see that you'll have your summary as well, your general information. And as you can see here, you also have any type of occupancies and usage as well. The system will allow the user to add any dates, for example, possession date, opening date, or even expansion date. Keep in mind that these dates are not mandatory, so you can always choose to input them or not. Within the premise, as you can see, you have several tabs as well. Here you can add any areas pertaining to that particular premise, such as your premise GLA, an office, or even vacant space. You also have the ability to input your sales pertaining to a percentage rent and inputting any information that defines any for sale or for lease land. Once again, you can add any pictures. Since we are talking now about your premises, you could add any pictures of inside the office, for example, and any documents pertaining to that particular premise as well. The system will also allow you to create user-defined fields. These defined fields are any information that, for example, you would want to add within the system, such as, for example, business hours. Or if you want to add the number of desks or anything else, you can do so and add that information here. Once again, once the premise has been activated, you would usually be able to go ahead and create your lease. Within your lease, you'll see we have several different features that are very important for a real estate person, which is the features such as percentage rent or reconciliation, for example. As you can see here, you have, once again, all the information, and you can also add your terms within the system, such as, for example, your base rent. Within the percentage rent feature, you'll be able to really calculate the percentage rent according to the sales that have been input within the system. Keep in mind that your sales can be uploaded manually or with a template as well. Once all the details have been input, you'd simply need to press on calculate, and the system would give you all the calculation, even your break-even point, for example. You can add any critical clauses or clauses within the system and link them to your critical dates, which of course they will appear on the Action Center as mentioned previously. And you can also reconcile your accounts while you input all the invoices you've received throughout the year. For account reconciliation, it's important to add all the information. And of course, the system will avoid the mistakes of repeating any invoices and will once again make that calculation for the user as well. Pertaining to the other tabs within the lease, as you can see, you can add any lease incentives, any insurances, or separate agreements. And once again, you can upload any documents, such as your lease, for example. And once again, you have the ability to add any user-defined fields. One of the last features we want to display is your reports and your dashboards. Within the system, you have the ability to create custom reports and custom dashboards, but you also have dashboards that are already created within the system. If, for example, you would want to see how many locations you have and details pertaining to that, you could simply go ahead and click on this. And as you can see, you really have a specific number of locations that have been entered within the system, and also the map and any other information that you would want could appear here as well. Within your reports, you always have your critical dates reports. Keep in mind that anything can be extracted within Excel, and you could really play with that information and filter depending on the type of information you want to have appear within that report. You also have the ability to create custom reports. For example, here you see you have the ability to create different types of charts, and really display the information once again that pertains, for example, to any store by city, to any lease details, number of leases within the system, or any other type of chart that is important for you as a user. This concludes the overall view of Nakisa Real Estate and how to navigate within the system from your location, premise, and to your lease as well.